Yeah.
What's your favorite part about the business?
Selling them.
Yeah, really? Yeah. Well, we got honesty for sure, right?
No,
to me, the two things, when people are like, oh, what do you think's going to happen with the market? I always, for years, have said the same thing. It depends on two factors, interest rates and supply.
Yeah.
So when they meet on the graph and there's too much supply and the interest rates are too high, then you have a big problem. Sometimes it happens by accident, and I'll tell you what's going to happen more and more by accident is people holding rentals in this cycle where things are just not selling. I'm Brian Athey, the president of Congressional Capital, and I'm here with Chris Clark, founder of Summit Homes and Summit Realty. We're here in one of his projects that he's renovated. Chris, what's the address here?
Yep, so we're here at 914 Kent Place Northeast. We're just about 3 blocks from the 8th Street corridor.
Yeah, good spot, good lighting here in the kitchen. It really looks nice. But taking a step back, I really wanted to hear your origin story. Like, how did you get into real estate? Like, what's your background?
I've been in the real estate industry a little over 5 years now. I started my business in 2017, 2023, so 5.5 years or so. I went to college and I majored in accounting and finance. I always pretty much just thought I would, go work in corporate America, work my way up the corporate ladder. I always say the same thing. Literally on day one, I just hated it. I knew by lunchtime that this was not for me, and I had to start figuring out what I could do, because I was like, all I know is I can't do this for the next 40 plus years. So I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I came to that realization pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so obviously I didn't quit my job day one. I wasn't that crazy, but started talking to my dad and some other, mentors and people I look up to, and kind of just everything started pointing towards real estate. So, started educating myself. I did one of those, coaching program, which gave me a lot of good information. And just, like I said, educating myself and, about set up my company, and then just started taking action.
So what did the coaching program teach you? Like, what was the kind of, going into it, what did you think you were going to learn, and what did you really get out of it?
You work one-on-one with coaches. They kind of teach you how to analyze deals, what numbers you need to factor in to that analysis, how to run comps, stuff like that, what type of lenders to work with, how to raise private money. And honestly, I think half of it is, you spend a decent amount of money on the program. I don't want to feel like you just wasted a bunch of money.
Totally.
So it kind of gives you a kick in the ass to, take action. Now that,
it's like the personal trainer thing. If you're going to pay somebody a lot of money to help you lift weights or something, you're going to probably do it, right? In retrospect, having run the business for 5.5 years now, did you learn enough that was valuable? And were the things that you were taught things that you've seen play out in your career, or no?
Yeah, I definitely think it was valuable.
Yeah.
I always tell people you don't need to go that route. I said, I think it was valuable. I learned a lot. And probably more than anything, I got connected with a lot of other people in the real estate industry who I've, partnered on deals with, or they've sent me some really great referrals to, their lenders or their contractors, stuff like that. So, formed a lot of really good relationships. It taught me enough where I felt sophisticated enough to at least get started. Right?
Yeah. I mean, look, I always say that, a lot of people have ideas, but they don't turn those ideas into action. Right. So if it gave you the confidence to turn ideas into action, I mean, that's worth $50,000 all day, right?
Exactly.
All right. So 5.5 years into your business, you're now like the grizzled old veteran of what are you, like 30 years old or something?
29.
Yeah, 29. Yeah. I'm 47.
Turn 30 next month.
What's your birthday?
May 12th.
May 12th for everybody who's out there. Also,
wish me happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. That's also my nephew's birthday, so I'll remember. But so how many deals have you done in 5.5 years?
It's a little over 50.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, 51 or 52, something like that.
And what's the breakdown on deal types? House flips versus condo projects versus, I don't know if you've done any rental deals or not.
So I've done 3 condo deals. So then I guess that would be like 49 or so single family deals.
Wow.
And I've kept 5 of them as rentals.
Good. Awesome.
Kind of by accident, to be honest.
Yeah. Hey, listen, sometimes it happens by accident, and I'll tell you what's going to happen more and more by accident is people holding rentals in this cycle where things are just not selling. If you're going to sell something and break even or lose money, it's awfully hard to sell it, rather than just hold it as a rental.
All of those I went into with the idea of selling them after renovation.
So the ones you held were deals you'd either have taken a loss or broken even on or something?
I would have pretty much either broken even or taken a loss, and then like you said, I'm sitting there like, well, if I can refinance this and cash flow a little bit, or just break even on my mortgage payments and hold on to it for 5-10 years or maybe longer than that. I have confidence in the DC real estate market, so I think over the long term they'll certainly appreciate, and then I'm sure I'll be glad that I made that decision.
You will. Yeah, over time what you'll notice, because I'm a lot older than you, is that you'll start paying down your debt, and you'll pay down your debt, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, holy shit, I don't owe that much anymore.
Right.
And then the value will still be, it'll be where it is today or higher, hopefully, and you'll be in better shape,
Yeah.
You've done a lot of house flips. What are some lessons that you've learned? Like, what are the top 2 or 3 lessons? I mean, there's lots of them, right?
Yeah. I think number one would definitely be like working with great people. And it takes a team, right? From, working with great real estate agents to great lenders, like yourself, architects, contractors, designers, stagers, title companies. I mean, you touch 10 or so different people or businesses throughout the life cycle of a transaction.
Yep.
And if you're working with great people who can make your life easier, then the deal is probably going to go a lot better than if you're working with people who aren't making your life easier, because there's enough other stuff going on that if they can help you out in their areas of expertise, then it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, and there's always curveballs that come up, right? So it's like usually it's like caused by the DC government in some way,
Yes.
but it is part of the business, and having resources to call, whether it's, your lender, a good lawyer, a title company that knows a lot about the issues is really helpful.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about the business?
Selling them.
Yeah, really? Yeah. We got honesty for sure, right?
I enjoyed the whole process. When I started, I really didn't have much construction experience. And by much, I mean none.
Yeah, totally.
And that's still nothing I'm an expert in.
Yeah.
But I've definitely learned a lot, and I do enjoy like stopping by the project, a few times a week, meeting with the contractors, asking questions, trying to understand what's going on, and just if there's something to tweak to make the house a little, finish a little better.
Yep.
Making those tweaks. I like to think I'm a little more creative than people give me credit for.
Yeah.
I enjoy the rehab process a lot.
We were just at one of his properties at 404 East Capitol Street, and he's working with a great designer there, and we walked it, and it's one of those classic old Capitol houses that he's bringing back to life, and there's an opportunity to expose some brick there, which I think will be cool, and some other things. That house speaks to location. It speaks to your team. You have a great designer there. I think you made one point that's really important for people to understand is when you said you didn't know anything about construction, it's still not your area of expertise. It's really important to stay in your lane and know all right, XYZ construction company's good, so let me focus on the things I'm good at and come together,
Yeah.
So what do you think your best skill in your business is? What separates you from other people?
That's a good question. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if there's one thing that's super special about me. I really leaned into is having a relationship-based business. I think has served me in some nice ways. So it's given me access to some really good deals where, I try to meet and network with as many real estate agents as possible, have them bring me deals, and it seems to be working pretty well.
I just think it works across the board. I mean, I always say that the most important thing in business is having a great network and really spending time with people, getting to know them. And, frankly, in markets like this where lending markets are getting tighter and tighter and tighter, having real relationships with your lender, for example, matters. If you need help and, you get towards the end of the project, you've run out of cash and you're tight and you say, hey, can I add $100,000 to this loan? I need the money. If you have a relationship and the lender trusts you, the answer is more likely to be yes than no.
Right.
If you're just kind of doing a one-off thing and you don't have a relationship, the answer might be no. What's looking back on your career and doing, you said 49 house flips, I think. Yep. What's the favorite house you've ever done?
I think I'm working on a couple of them right now, to be honest. The one we saw on East Capitol Street. I think that's going to be a really, really awesome house.
I do too.
And then I have one in Old Town right now that's
cool.
Actually finishing up the end of this month that I think will be really, really special home as well. I did a really cool one on North Carolina Ave that was a historic brownstone looking house.
Yeah, I think I walked that with you.
Yeah, I think you came and saw that one with me. That one definitely jumps out as well.
When you're in a really cool location like the 404 East Capitol house is, or the Old Town house, it just opens up the doors to do really cool things, right? Because you can get a bigger price on the back end, which means you can hire, designers that are good, like Mike Johnson on 404 East Capitol, and really do something special. I'm looking forward to it. So what do the next 5 years hold for you, personally, professionally? What are you looking forward to?
My answer changes a lot on this, and I don't know, probably day by day or week by week. But so the past 5 years or so, I've averaged 10 to 15 deals a year, something like that. So at any given time, I've got 12 deals or so going on, which at times it can be quite busy. Sometimes everything's running smoothly and it doesn't feel that busy.
That doesn't last long though, does it? Yeah, it does. It's like the good times that don't last that long, and the bad times don't either, really.
Yeah, and so I mean, I've done a lot of singles and doubles that not all 49 of those deals are home runs.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So sometimes I think about hitting the gas and maybe hiring a few more people and trying to do like 15, 20 deals a year or something like that. And then the other side of my brain is, why don't we scale it back, be a little more choosy about the deals? Like, let's just do the really nice deals in the great locations and maybe do 5 to 7 deals a year or something like that, where it's a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with as many headaches because I'm just doing really, really great deals. That's probably the direction I'm leaning.
Hey, listen, the 47-year-old who's a little tired thinks option 2 is 1,000 times better. I mean, just higher margin deals are always better, right? So if you take higher margin deals, like on my development side, I have a strict margin criteria that's designed to protect us. What happens if the construction budget is if we go over budget on the construction? What happens if there's a time delay? What happens if there's interest rate risk? If you add all those things, can you still do okay? And that's what it's designed to do. So if you do like the 5 a year that are higher margin, I just think you'll be better off. That's my 2 cents. But
yeah, and plus when when things slow down, houses just aren't selling as fast as they were the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Being a little more lean doesn't seem like such a bad thing.
No. I mean, I think you have 2 choices. You either go smaller with higher margins, or you do like deals a year instead. You know what I mean? Like where you're just ripping and roaring, which is really tough.
The development business or the house flipping business is an extremely hard business to scale.
Very.
You've seen a lot of people try and they just burn out or they fail because you have to be hands-on with your projects. Unless you have a big team, I mean, no one's going to care as much about it as you, obviously. It's a very capital-intensive business, so there's a lot of money in each deal.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that money comes back to you. So
you plan on keeping your focus in DC or doing more in Virginia, or what are you thinking geographically?
For the past 5 years, 90+% has been DC. Definitely started thinking like, hey, maybe I should start looking in Virginia a bit more.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm kind of known as doing mostly DC deals, so that's what gets brought to me the most.
Yeah.
But definitely, always interested in Northern Virginia. I think Northern Virginia is a great market as well.
So what's your forecast for the next year? Where do you think the world's going?
That's a good question. If I knew, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now.
Totally. I know. What I think changes like every other day. So
yeah, I mean, I listened to what the experts say. It sounds like the rates might be lower by the end of 2024.
I think the Fed's going to raise another quarter point. Then they're going to check the inflation data, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, the mortgage rates by far are the biggest driver of the real estate industry, and I think that's something I didn't know because for my 5-year career, the rates were always in the 4s and then dipped down to the 2s for a few months there, and houses were just selling like hotcakes. You know what I mean? And then they doubled in a 6-month span, and I was like, holy shit. Interest rates are a gigantic fact. I mean, obviously, duh, but like...
To me, the 2 things, when people are like, oh, what do you think's going to happen with the market? I always, for years, have said the same thing. It depends on 2 factors, interest rates and supply. Yeah. So when they meet on the graph and there's too much supply and the interest rates are too high, then you have a big problem. Right now, we don't have the supply problem, but the rate thing is it's really week by week. The last 6 weeks, the market's been strong. And I really give credit to mortgage lenders and to local banks, doing what they can to keep rates down. I mean, a lot of mortgage lenders are losing a lot of money right now, just trying to compete for business, which kind of helps keep the housing market alive, but who knows how long that'll last. So we'll see. I don't have a crystal ball either, but I've enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on this house. You can reach out to Chris. He's all over social media.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Where'd you go to college?
University of South Carolina.
Gotcha. So are you like a big South Carolina sports fan?
When they're playing well, sure, but we had a good football team while I was there. They've kind of fallen off since I've left, but still keep up and talk to.
I think they beat Clemson last year, though.
They did beat Clemson, and
that was a wild game. Actually, there was a 1 or 2. I think the punt returner had a few fumbles in that game.
It was a wild game, yeah. So
Plus, these are concrete, right?
So they're courts with like a concrete finish. So everyone loves quartz countertops. They probably hold up the best and look the best. But it has, instead of like the glaze finish, we went the concrete finish. Just something a little different.
Yeah, I learned years ago that if you like to drink wine and you like to spill your wine, don't use marble countertops because they stain like really quickly. They're so porous, but like quartz is much better for that.
Yeah.